Hi Yogi, and welcome to another Slow Flow with me, Oceana. This particular class is going to be a continuous flow that's going to incorporate a lot of balancing postures so that we're really building and honing in on our focus, which will hopefully carry us through a really productive day today. So in terms of props, you don't really need anything from my side. If there's anything you know you enjoy using in your practice, then feel free to grab that. And we'll be starting on our backside, so join me there when you're ready, Yogi. Once you arrive on your backside, make sure that you support the head with a pillow or blanket, especially if there's any tension in the neck area. And from there, we'll bring the knees towards the chest, one hand on top of each knee. On an inhale, allowing the knees to move away from you, and on an exhale, squeezing them in towards you. Starting to sync that movement with your breathing, which could of course be slightly faster or slightly slower than mine, as we gradually start to work into the hip joint here. And noticing that movement of the lower back curve as it flattens and bends, the movement of your pelvis, massaging the back of the hips here. The next time that the knees move away from you, release the right foot to the floor. For a moment, really draw the left knee towards the left armpit. So you're kind of moving slightly past the rib cage here. And then relax the hands either sides of the hips. Reach your foot up towards the ceiling. Feel free to keep a generous bend on the left knee or to work with a straight leg if you prefer. Circle the toes around the ankle a few times in one direction and then reverse the direction. Relax the foot, point the knee towards the ceiling. Circle the foot around the knee as much as you can, really keeping your thigh as still as possible. And then reversing the circles a few times. Again, bring that left knee towards the armpit. You could again use the hands to bring it across. If you're going a little bit further, you can lift the sole of the foot towards the ceiling, grabbing either behind the knee, possibly the calf, ankle, or outer edge of the foot, so that you can draw the knee towards the floor into half happy baby. The right hand rests on top of the right hip. And if you are going even further, you could straighten the right leg. Finding a few moments to breathe here. Gently rebend the right knee first. Relax the left foot away from you. Give yourself a moment to just feel the difference of left and right side of the body here. And then bring the knees, both of them, back in towards yourself. Plant the hands back on top of the knees. Keep the big toes touching as you let the knees separate, and circle them a few times away from each other. And then reversing the direction of those circles a few times, having a sense that the knees are moving towards one another. Gently from there, plant the left foot to the floor. Draw the right knee towards the right armpit, but see if, especially if you're interlacing the hands, if you can go one finger over to the unusual side of that interlace. And then maybe you can draw the knee past that rib cage. When you're ready, reach the foot up towards the ceiling. Relax the hands either sides of the hips. Start by circling the toes around the ankle in one direction and reverse that direction for a few rounds. Let the foot hang, let the knee point directly up towards the ceiling. Again, you can even put the hands on top of your right thigh to keep it fairly steady as you start to circle the big toe around the knee joint. Although I have to say circles is a slightly bad choice of word because it's more of an oval. And then reverse your oval shape when you're ready. Now, when you relax the foot the next time, bring the knee back in towards yourself. You could again come into this sort of stretch where the hands are interlacing the unusual way, just below the knee joint, as you're bringing the knee towards yourself. Or if you're going further, you lift the sole of the foot towards the ceiling, grabbing with the right hand just behind the knee, possibly catching the calf, ankle, or all the way to the outside of the foot. And then using that purchase to draw the knee towards the floor. Left hand on top of the left hip to give it some grounding, possibly straightening the left foot. And then breathing into that deep, deep hip opening, our half happy baby. It's not quite there, which I guess is true for a lot of babies. They're very rarely very happy, but when they are, it is a beautiful thing. Now, when you're ready, plant your left foot to the floor, bring the right foot down, separate your feet so they're as wide as the yoga mat. Just for a moment, let that difference again settle between left and right side, and then reach your arms up and overhead so you can really stretch the hands over your head. Gently bring your knees over to the right side, really press into the inner edge of your left foot to get that deep stretch along the left side of the body. Inhale, bring the knees through center, opposite side as you exhale, really reaching and pressing down through your right knee. And then we'll repeat that 2 more times on each side. Inhaling to come through center and exhaling to come over to the left. Next time that you return from the left side, bring the knees in towards the chest. Hold on to the backs of the knees as you rock forwards and back through the spine a few times. Now, Yogi's Choice will meet in chair pose at the front of the mat. You can make your way there any which way you like, or possibly as you build a bit of momentum, you can plant the feet at the front and rise into that invisible chair, drawing the sitting bones down and back, lifting through the chest and spinning the pinky fingers in towards each other. On an exhale, float your way all the way to mountain pose Tadasana. Separate the feet at hip distance here and let your breath gently settle in. Let the eyes find that focal point in front of you. We'll come through a little bit of a warm-up sequence here. So as you inhale, sweep the arms out and overhead. Lift the eyes towards the thumbs into your upward salute. On an exhale, swan dive to fold all the way down into your legs. Bend the knees as much as is helpful here. Folding forward for Uttanasana. Lengthen the spine halfway. The hands can be on the floor or shins. Shoulders draw back. Crown of the head reaches forward for a straight spine. Exhale to fold back into your legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, find that invisible chair behind you again as you inhale to lift the arms. Exhale, float to the top, mountain pose. Inhale to reach up, upward salute. Exhale, fold back into the legs, Uttanasana. Lengthen halfway as you inhale. Exhale, fold back in. Deep bend in the knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, floating up to mountain pose Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, really lifting up, maybe a tiny back bend here. Exhale, fold back in, Uttanasana. Lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back into the legs. Generous bend in the knees. Inhale, find chair pose. Exhale, float to mountain. Inhale, lifting up, looking up. And exhale, swan dive down. Final time here as you inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale to fold. Deep bend in the knees, find your invisible chair here. And then shift your body weight into the right leg to bring the left knee into the chest as you come up to standing. Reach your left hand back. Right hand goes across to the outside of the knee, so you can really spin the chest open in this standing twist, maybe keeping the eyes forward towards your focal point, or possibly challenging your balance just a little bit by taking the eyes towards your back thumb. Finding the breath. Finding your balance. Inhale to take your eyes and right fingertips forward. Cartwheel the arms as you step the left foot all the way back. Left hand goes underneath its own shoulder. Right fingertips reach towards the sky above you. Pressing actively into your back heel, drawing the hips towards the center line to support yourself here. And allowing yourself a moment just to gather the breath. On an exhale, take your top hand all the way back and down to frame the front foot. Walk the fingertips as far forward as you can, preparing for Warrior 3. Shift your body weight forward. Feel free to keep the left big toe on the floor or possibly lift the entire leg off the ground, flexing the toes towards you and spinning your left pinky to the ground. Possibly, if balance allows for it, you could reach the hands either sides of the hips. Maybe even straighten the standing leg, really reaching through the crown of the head and pressing your back heel away. Find your final few moments to breathe here. Embrace the struggle and find your focal point. On an exhale, bend your standing leg generously, spin the left heel down, reach the arms up, find Warrior 1.5, center of the chest, reaching forward towards your front left corner of the yoga mat. Pinky fingers turning towards one another to draw the shoulder blades forward. And then actively pressing into the outer edge of the back foot and the front big toe. On an exhale, interlace the hands behind you. Inhale to roll the shoulders back and lift the chest. Exhale, coming forward, bring the crown of your head towards the ground. Right shoulder could rest on top of the right knee or move past it. Still pressing into the feet to maintain that grounding through the legs. On an inhale, turn your back toes out, lift the torso and shift your body weight into the left leg. Draw the sitting bones down and back for a high skandasana. Maybe lift the right toes and straighten the leg. See if you can find a little bit more lift through the torso and the center of your chest. And then release your arms forward and back. Turn all the way to the back of your mat, or 10 toes turn with you. Plant the hands to frame your left foot. And then either step back to a downward dog, maybe have a rest in child's pose. Otherwise, from a high plank, we move through our first vinyasa. The knees slowly lower towards the floor. We descend with control through Chaturanga Dandasana. Pressing through the tops of the feet. Rolling the shoulders back as you inhale into Cobra Pose. And on an exhale, either coming via the knees or one straight line into Downward Facing Dog. We'll meet there. Actively pressing through the index finger and thumb. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Lift through the sitting bones. When you're ready, take the eyes forward towards the space between your thumbs. Walk or step the feet to the front. Inhale to lengthen the spine halfway. And exhale, fold into your legs, bend the knees as much as you need to get here. Deep bend in the knees as you inhale. Find chair pose at the back of the mat. Draw the sitting bones down and back if you can. Take your body weight into the left foot. As you come up to standing, draw the right knee into the chest and flex the toes. Take the right hand back. Left hand comes forward and across to the outside of your top knee. Really expanding and spinning the chest open towards the right side of the yoga mat into your Hasta Padangusthasana closed twist. Maybe again, if you're challenging your balance, the eyes could move towards your back thumb, or you could keep them in front of you so that you sort of choose how difficult this balance needs to be. And then you find your final few moments to breathe here, to grow a little bit taller through the crown of your head. Again, on an inhale, let the eyes travel forward first. Reach your left fingertips to the back. Cartwheel the hands as you step the right foot to the back. Right hand goes underneath its own shoulder. Left arm lifts. Simple high lunge twist, facing the back of the yoga mat. Reaching through the hands, active through the legs and hips, finding our alignment as the breath begins to settle in. And then slowly top hand rolls all the way back and down to frame the front foot. The fingertips walk as far as they can in front of you so that you can maybe make your right toes light, possibly lift the entire right leg off the ground and find your version of Warrior 3 on the second side here. Again, find as much as you can that expansion through the lifted leg and your torso. Moments to breathe and balance and find a focal point that sort of keeps you here. And when you're ready, plant your right foot all the way at the back, spin the heel down and lift the arms into your Warrior 1.5. Again, center of the chest is pointing towards your front right corner of the yoga mat. Your pinky fingers turn towards one another, actively pressing into your feet. Controlling the rib cage here, so a sense that you're pulling the ribs back towards the spine. And then interlacing the hands behind you. Go for the unusual interlace, so move just one pinky finger over. Roll the shoulders back as you breathe in. Exhale, let your left shoulder move towards your left knee. Maybe going slightly past it, you can allow the crown of the head to release overhead for Humble Warrior. Actively press into your feet to keep yourself here. Almost as if you're trying to tear the mat apart with your feet. And then on an inhale, lift up, spin your right toes out. Shift your body weight into the right leg to lift the left toes and find a high skandasana, drawing the hands back so that you can lift the center of the chest and grow taller through the spine. Sit your sitting bones a little bit lower if you can. Release the hands and turn all the way to the front again. Frame your right foot with both hands. Step it back to a high plank. Feel free to rest in child's pose or downward dog. Otherwise, moving through a vinyasa of your choice. Exhale to lower halfway for chaturanga. Inhale to find the back bend of your choice. And exhale to make your way back to downward facing dog. We meet there. Finding a moment to breathe here, to adjust our alignment if we need to. On an inhale, take the eyes forward. Exhale to walk, step or jump the feet to the hands. Lengthen the spine halfway as you inhale. And exhale, soften the knees to fold all the way in. On an inhale, sit back into that invisible chair as you lift the arms. And exhale, swim to mountain pose. Lift your arms out and overhead as you inhale into your upward salute, maybe finding just that gentle back bend. Leading forward with the chest as you exhale to fold back into your legs. Lengthen the spine halfway as you inhale, create some space. And then maintain that length in the spine as you fold back in. Exhale. Deep bend in the knees, inhale, come back into chair pose. This time shift your body weight across into the right leg. Pick up the left knee. Bring the left hand to the inside of the knee. Grab hold of the shin bone if you can. Right arm goes out to the side at shoulder height. And I'll show you this from the front. It's a little bit easier to see. Flex your left toes. Let the left knee open out to the side. You could stay here, keeping that focal point in front of you, or possibly allowing the eyes to drift to the right thumb again, challenging our balance just a touch here. Find our final few moments, maybe to grow a little bit taller through the crown of the head, to let the shoulders soften. And we transition this into tree pose, so the arms go either side. You could bring your left big toe to the floor and lean against the ankle. You could bring the foot off the floor and lean it against the calf. We're going to skip the knee joint because it's quite delicate, but you could bring the heel all the way into your thigh. From there, you could keep the arms down by your side, possibly lifting the arms up high, growing the branches of the tree, softening your eyes towards a point on the ceiling, maybe allowing a big smile to come across your face, relaxing any tension along the jaw and neck, soften the shoulders, embrace the struggle, any sort of wobbles or movements in the standing leg. And to transition out of this, bring the knee into the center, step the foot all the way back into a high lunge, coming onto the ball of your left foot. Keep your right arm down by your side, but spin the palm forward and then lift your left arm up and overhead into a gentle side bend. You can let your eyes drift down past your right hip. Find a moment here to press equally into both feet. Really find that expansion through the left fingers. And then on an inhale, come back up through center. Spin your back heel down. Bring the left hand to the back thigh as you straighten the front leg. Reverse triangle. Reach the right fingertips back. On an inhale, reach the right fingertips as far forward as you can. You can keep the right leg straight or a generous bend on the knee. Let the back of the hand land to the inner thigh, possibly calf or ankle, maybe the floor. Left arm reaches up to find triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Spinning the center of the chest towards the ceiling. Again, maybe lifting the eyes towards the thumb or keeping them on the floor for support and steadiness. Once you really feel like you've arrived here, let the breath settle. Again, find that connection into your feet. And when you're ready, if your eyes are lifted, take them down to your front big toe. Generous bend on your right knee. Take your bottom hand as far forward as you can. See if you can slowly shift your body weight into the front leg, possibly keeping the left big toe on the floor or floating it off the ground, flexing the toes towards the shin for half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Once you feel settled in the balance, take another few rounds of breath. And then slowly bend your standing leg very generously. Plant the left foot behind you with the toes turned out. Windmill the arms and shift your body weight into the back leg. Again, maybe straighten the front leg, maybe turn the toes up towards the ceiling. Just a brief pause in Skandasana, and then we turn all 10 toes to the back of the yoga mat, stepping from our runner's lunge into a high plank. On the exhale, lowering down halfway. On the inhale, finding the back bend of our choice. And on an exhale, making our way back into downward facing dog at the back of the yoga mat. Finding a few moments to breathe and settle in here. The generous bend on the knees. On an exhale, walk, step or jump the feet to the front. Lengthen the spine halfway when you arrive and exhale to fold in. Make sure the feet are hip distance. Deeply bend the knees as you inhale for chair pose. Exhale, swim yourself to the top. Lift the arms, lift the eyes, find a gentle back bend and lead forward with the chest as you fold back in. Lengthen the spine halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold back into the legs. Deep bend in the knees. Chair pose at the back. Shift your body weight into the left leg, pick up the right knee. Again, we'll bring right hand to the inside of the knee here, making sure that we grab hold of the shin bone. We can take the left arm out to the side for counterbalance and then allowing the left knee to open to the side. So moving through our external rotation of the hip joint here. Again, if the balance is very easy, let your eyes wander across to your left thumb And otherwise, keeping the eyes in the center, lengthening upwards through the crown of the head. When you're ready, release the grip of your right hand. Plant your right foot either to the ankle, possibly to the calf, possibly lifting it all the way to the inner thigh for tree pose. Making your choice here to either keep the hands down by your side or growing the branches of the tree. Again, once you're there, making sure that you keep that softness in your face, the length through your spine, the grounding through your bottom foot, that squeezing and hugging in through the side body and hips, a sense of softness through the shoulders. And we transition it back into a high lunge, slowly bringing the right knee into center, taking the hands and right foot all the way back, landing on the ball of the foot. Right arm reaches up and overhead towards the left side of the yoga mat. Turn your left palm to face forward and hang the arm just down by your side, allowing your eyes to drift down towards the floor just past your left hip. And then seeing if you can press your right heel a little bit further back. Maybe reach a little bit more with your right fingertips. On an inhale, lift both arms, spin your back heel down. Right hand to the back thigh, straighten the front leg, reach your left fingertips as far back as you can. Reverse triangle. On an inhale, reach left hand forward. Again, you can keep the front knee bent or straight. And from there, let the back of the hand land to the inner thigh, calf, ankle, floor. Let your right fingertips reach towards the sky into Utthita Trikonasana on the second side. Find that expansion through the fingertips. Lift the chest. Press into your feet. Again, see if you can think about your top hip moving towards the front of the mat and the crown of your head moving towards the back of the mat. Maybe the eyes are lifting towards that top thumb. When you're ready, the eyes travel all the way down to your bottom toe. You bend your left knee very generously. Take your left hand as far forward as you can. So slowly taking your body weight into the left leg, maybe staying on the right big toe, maybe lifting the leg and expanding into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Again, if you lift your eyes here towards a point either on your right side or all the way towards the ceiling, it's a very tricky balancing pose at that point. A little bit easier to keep the eyes fairly close to the bottom hand. When you're ready, bend the standing leg. Plant your right foot at the front of the mat with the toes pointing out. And then windmill the arms to shift your body weight into the right leg. Lift the left toes, maybe straighten the left leg. Turn all 10 toes in the hands at the front so that you come into your runner's lunge. Step the front foot all the way back into your high plank position, either lowering down via the knees, maybe skipping the vinyasa, or exhale to lower halfway. Inhale to come into the back bend of your choice. And on an exhale, rolling over the feet or via the knees, making your way into downward facing dog. Taking the eyes forward towards the hands. On an exhale, bending the knees, walking, stepping or jumping the feet to the hands. Lengthen the spine halfway as you breathe in. And exhale to fold into the legs. Deep bend in the knees as you inhale, find chair pose. And exhale, swim to the top for mountain pose. Lift up into your upward facing salute, reach through the fingertips. And exhale, swan dive back into the legs for Uttanasana. Lengthen the spine halfway as you inhale. Exhale to fold back down. Generous bend in the knees, find your chair pose. And then shift your body weight again into the right leg, pick up the left knee. This time quite different. We'll transition this into Natarajasana, Lord of the Dance. So we'll take, if we can, the left foot behind us. We could see if the left hand can reach the outside of the foot or possibly all the way to the ankle. And then pressing the foot away from you. The more you press, the more you can lean forward and find your expression of the pose. Possibly right index finger and thumb could touch. Again, just a moment of balance here. And then gently as you inhale, lift all the way back up. Reach up through your fingertips, release the left leg, find your upward salute, and exhale, swan dive back into the legs. Give yourself a moment here to let the head hang. A little bit of a counter posture to the back bend. You can sway from side to side. And again from here, deep bend in the knees as you inhale, find chair pose, Utkatasana. Swim to the top as you exhale, mountain pose. Lift the arms, Urdhva Hastasana, inhale, and exhale, fold back down. Lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Uttanasana, exhale, fold in. Deep bend in the knees as you inhale, find chair pose, Utkatasana. Shift your body weight across into the left leg, pick up the right knee and come to stand. Take the right foot behind you, see if you can really reach the heel towards the sitting bone. And then reach the right arm back so that you can catch either the outside of the foot or all the way to the ankle. From there, press the foot away from you as you lean the chest forward. Again, maybe left index finger and thumb touch, really lifting through the top heel into the expression of the pose that works for you. On an inhale, lifting back up through the torso, gently release the leg, lift the arms, expand the chest, and exhale, swan dive back down into your version of your standing forward fold. Maybe legs straight or still bending the knees to relax the belly onto the thighs. Giving yourself a little nod of the head, yes. A shake of the head, no, to release tension in the neck. Maybe circling the head a few times in each direction. Deeply bending the knees on an inhale, lifting the arms to find your final chair pose here. Lifting through the center of the chest, maybe drawing the sitting bones a little bit further and down if you can. Possibly with the hands on the floor or unsupported, slowly making your way to a seated position. And we'll cross the legs for Sukhasana, one shin in front of the other. If you know that you have a tendency to round the spine here, then do feel free to just find something to prop yourself up with so your hips are higher than your knees. You could use pillows, you can roll up your yoga mat and sit on top of that here. When you're ready, as you inhale, we'll reach the arms all the way up and overhead, interlacing the hands above us, spinning the palms towards the ceiling for a moment, really lengthening through the sides of the waist, and then releasing the shoulders down as you exhale. Turn from the belly button to the right side, release the hands. So left hand could be to the inside of the knee, possibly reaching all the way across. Right hand is behind you for support. On an inhale, growing tall from the sitting bones, lengthening upwards. On an exhale, spinning the center of the chest open to the right side, rolling left ribcage forward, right shoulder back. Possibly closing the eyes. Working into the twist to deepen or stay, whichever is your preference right now, today, here in this moment. On an inhale, unwinding to come all the way facing forward as you breathe in, lift up the arms. Again, interlace the hands above you, but go for the unusual interlace, one pinky finger over. Reach up through the palms as you breathe in, soften the shoulders as you exhale. On an inhale, turn from the belly button to the left side and exhale, release the hands down. Again, you could be right hand to the inside of the knee or possibly reach it across. Left hand is behind you for support. Each inhale allows you to grow a little bit taller, and with the exhale you find your version of that twist. And again, exploring either with the eyes open or closed. As I often say, having the eyes closed just gives us a little bit more opportunity to actually tune in with the spine and the body to feel any sensations that might be present, allowing us to make sure that we're not over twisting, we're not working too deeply into it. On an inhale, lifting the arms back up, coming through center. Exhale, plant both hands behind you, fingertips pointing away. Lift the center of the chest towards your chin. Really draw your sitting bones down and back in the opposite direction. So you're creating a really big arch through the spine. And then exhale to release yourself forward. Folding over your legs, you can bring the hands in front of you for support. And pressing into the hands, really rounding the spine back, rounding the sitting bones. Let the head hang low. You can always walk the hands a little bit further forward to deepen that stretch for yourself. When you're ready, coming up to a seated position, walk the hands in. Relax the palms on top of your knees here. We'll find our seat for meditation first. So if you can, again, if you're sitting on something a little bit higher, think about shifting your body weight into the backs of the sitting bones. For most of us, that means leaning just a touch back. And from that grounding, see if you can have a sense that the top of your head is almost being drawn upwards through some sort of magical, invisible force. Let the shoulders be heavy. Let the chin come into one line with your forehead. So that means slightly dropping the chin for most of us. And initially, I'd like you to start by closing the eyes if you can. Otherwise, simply gazing towards a focal point on the floor in front of you and widening your peripheral vision so that you just gently soften your eyes. And then bring your attention, your awareness into the lower belly, the space that in yoga we refer to as Svadhisthana chakra, in Buddhism the hara, what we maybe medically would refer to as the pelvic bowl. And oftentimes both in yoga and Buddhism we would consider this the seat of our intuitive, instinctive brain, our gut feeling, as we might call it. And just for a few rounds of breath, see if there's anything within that space, any gut feelings, any gut instincts about how you feel today, what this day might hold in store for you. So really observing and listening in to what is present. And allowing your attention to drift a little bit higher into the middle of the belly, just below your rib cage. For a few moments, really feeling the breath within that space. So seeing if you can truly expand the belly as you inhale and allow it to soften as you exhale. Noticing the intricacies, the delicacies of that movement of the breath. That deep sense of expansion as you inhale. That quiet drawing inwards as you exhale. Gently let your attention drift a little bit higher to the center of the chest. Have a moment to check in with your emotions. Notice how you've woken up today, which emotional state were you instantly in? Is it a positive or negative space to you? Let your attention drift a little bit higher to the space between your eyebrows, what we might refer to as the third eye space. And have a moment to observe your thoughts. See if you can really be completely objective here. Don't allow yourself to be taken on any sort of wild rides of your mind, taking you on these little storylines of what might happen today. But see if you can really just observe what is there with a level of objectivity, noticing any particular thought patterns that are present, anything that's particularly seeming to grasp for your attention. And then letting that go, seeing if you can allow yourself to sit just for the final few moments here in silence. If the mind is really busy today, then keep it anchored on the breath. And you might slowly count the breath from 10 as you inhale, 9 as you exhale. Inhaling for 8 and exhaling for 7. Continuing to count down the breath until you arrive at 0. And then seeing if you can let the silence stay, or whether you need to start again with the counting. Slowly allow your awareness to expand outwards. Start by bringing your attention to the sound of your breathing. And then open yourself up to any sounds that are within the same room as you're in. And then notice any sounds beyond that room. Bring the palms together in front of you. Vigorously rub the hands to create a little bit of friction and heat. And then cup your hands over the eyes. Gently blink the eyes open within that warm, dark space. And slowly let the light come back in towards the eyes. Bring the palms together, rest the forehead on the backs of your thumbs. Take a moment to give yourself gratitude for stepping onto your yoga mat. And finally, maybe plant your sankalpa that you carry with you into the day, a good intention for yourself or somebody else in your life that might need it just a little bit more than you do. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste, Yogi. So thank you so much for joining me in today's practice. Of course, if you enjoyed the class, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. And if you would like to find me anywhere else in the meantime, I will leave all of my social media links in the video description. And I hope to see you back on your yoga mat very soon. Thank you for joining me, Yogi.